The last week or two, I was surprised to get an influx of articles that said that the Illuminate are boring / people don't like the Illuminate / people are just tired of the Illuminate. And not gonna lie, I was kind of glad to see those because I really don't like fighting the Illuminate all that much. Now, a lot of people say this will be fixed when we get the real forces, when the Vanguard goes away and we get all the units and all that sort of thing, but I just don't know if that's going to fix the Illuminate for me. So why are the Illuminate boring? Well, the number one answer anyone will give you is that there's only like 3 unit types, 4 if you count the way that they call in allies, but I really don't. So there's 3. There's the Voteless, there's the Tripod, and there's the Overseers. And due to the way that they kind of work right now, the solution to that is bullets. Lots of bullets. That's basically all chaff, right? Like, oh, I gotta break through the shield? I use a machine gun. Ah, they have a ton of HP? I use a machine gun. There's a swarm of enemies? I use a machine gun. There's also some other problems I feel that they have, so let's go through the whole bit of the Illuminate and what it would take to make the Illuminate more fun for most people. I also want to note that I wanted to showcase the Illuminate, in the video because it's relevant to what we're talking about, but the Illuminate weren't available to fight at the time of shooting this video, so I had to make do with some bots. And that's actually the first point I want to make. The Illuminate aren't always available. We've wiped them off the map 10 times, and they always come back eventually, so you can fight them, but there's always this fear of missing out. I notice a lot of people feel like when the Illuminate is there, they have to play the Illuminate because they're not always going to be there, and you don't want to miss out. You want to be able to play them while you can play them, because at a certain point, you won't be able to fight them. This leads to people burning themselves out by playing against the Illuminate that they may not want to play at that time because they might not be able to play them later, and that FOMO really doesn't fit in well with the game. So I do think once we get their full invasion force, once they hold some planets are always available, that will fix that issue at least a little bit. And kind of going hand in hand with that, once they actually own a few planets, we'll have more than just defense missions, right? Because right now, when they do their invasion, we defend a bunch of planets, we kick them off. So once they actually own some planets, we should have some attack and some other kind of mission types that'll shake it up a little bit as well. I do think new units will also help, but I also want to discuss, I think they're a little too easy, and I know that whenever we get into difficulty, that's going to upset some people, and people will always disagree on it, but here's what I specifically mean when they're too easy. Is 1, they only have 1 unit that can call in reinforcements, and that unit is easily spotted and easily taken down. So you can really avoid call-ins as long as you're playing smart. And even if they do call in, so many of the maps have 2, 3, 4 SAM sites on them that once they start getting fully operational, you're not really dealing with a full call-in anyways. Only 1 or 2 ships might make it through. So really the hordes of enemies get cut down before you even get to fight them thanks to the SAM sites. I would really like to see them reduce the amount of SAM sites that you get to prevent that, as well as increase the amount of units that can do call-ins, or maybe have some other way for them to call in, or something that makes it so it's not quite so easy to avoid a call-in. I also would like their weak points to be looked at. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like the tripods, for example, they have the giant glowing blue eye, and so the first idea is, oh, shoot the giant glowing blue eye. But 9 times out of 10, the more effective thing to do is to just break their leg joints. And that makes sense, but this is the same issue we had with the Charger, right? Where the Charger has the giant glowing butt, but that's not the weak point. Everyone thinks that's the weak point, but it's not. It just feels kind of strange. And for the Overseers who fly, their weak point is their backpack, but you almost never see the backpack, so I guess if you're working as a team and you're doing flanking tactics and all those sort of things, it does work, but I've rarely seen that in games, maybe because I tend to solo things or do things kind of on my own, but I rarely see the cooperation to actually use that effectively. 9 times out of 10, someone's just going to bring a Scorcher or a stun weapon and just take them out that way rather than utilizing the weak points. So when the weak points are being ignored, there seems to be an issue with the weak points. Now let's talk about the one that everyone wants to talk about, and that's new unit types. Now, I never played Helldivers 1, but I did have to Google it to pop up, okay, what unit types are missing? What more can they bring to the table? And I was kind of shocked to find there's not a whole lot of units we're missing. Discounting the scouts, which I assume are just call-in units, really, we have most of the units. We're missing the tank, and we're missing a few variants of the Overseers, like the floating mind control guys. I think they're called the Illusionist and the Council members, and then there's a Great Eye, but I assume that's the Hive Lord, that's a huge boss, so Really, we're only missing like 2 units. I'm really afraid that when we get like their full force, when they bring in everyone, that we're only going to see 1 or 2 new unit types, and that's not going to be enough. Although I would really love to see them really lean into the whole like mind control thing. I would love to see like the illusionists come down and make you see enemies that aren't there, so you're firing at enemies that aren't there, or maybe make it so you can't see like your HUD. Maybe make it so that you can't see your allies, so when you're seeing enemies, you're shooting at your own allies. Things that would really mess with you. If they did game-changing things like that, I think that would bring the Illuminate to a whole next level. If I couldn't see my HUD, if I couldn't see where my allies were, if I was accidentally shooting at my allies because I thought they were enemies, things like that would be as big as like the Predator strain for the bugs, like game-changing. I'd also like to see, I heard that the Illuminate in Helldivers 1 had a little bit more stealth technology, so I'd like to see some of those like ambush and stealth technologies. Things like that I think would really shake it up and make people not feel like it's so easy and boring. The last thing that they could do, and I doubt they'll do this, but I know a lot of people have talked about it, it's something I've been talking about since day one, I would love to see some planet crossovers. Originally it was like where the bots and the bugs meet. I'd love to see a planet where you encounter both. I think the Illuminate using either the bots or the bugs to help make their forces bigger and make it more challenging, I think that would be such a fun event to have to go into. Oh man, the Illuminate brought a bunch of bugs, or they brought the Predator strain with them, would definitely shake it up. It would definitely make it harder. It would give you a lot more variety of, okay, I need to bring different things, or I need to use a different strategy, or bring more allies in, or do something to really shake it up. I don't think they'll do that. It's something the community has been asking for. I really do hope we'll see it, but I still have doubts that we're ever going to get planets with both types on them. I just see that being like a nightmare to program and to kind of balance. I do think they've kind of dropped the ball on how long it's been since we got the full invasion force. Like the Illuminate dropped sometime in December. We're in March now, going on April, so it's been 3-4 months and we've heard basically nothing from them, and we've lost the ability to fight them multiple times throughout that time. And I get the story is a slow burn and they're doing some other things. It just feels like they lost the momentum. Like you introduced this new unit type and I wanted to be overwhelmed by them, and just when we thought we beat them, they came back in even bigger numbers. Like when we do get the full invasion force, I feel like we've lost that oomph with the storytelling. It's just gonna be like, oh well, finally, and then we're gonna go in and mop the floor with them. Whereas if they had launched it a month or two ago, we would have still been building on like, oh, the invasion force, we finally fought them back, and here they are in even greater numbers, even harder, and we have to relearn it. I just feel like it's taken a little bit too much time. Now it's time for your part to participate. As always, I've said my piece. What do you think? Are you in the camp that the Illuminate are too boring and too easy? Do you enjoy fighting the Illuminate? Are you excited for new units, or do you feel like it's been too long? Like, the hype has kind of died down. Once they introduce new units, it's be like, okay, well, there's more things to fight. Where do you stand on that? Tell me in the comments down below. Also, tell me if you feel like there's too many SAM sites, because I know I can't be alone in that, but I do feel like there are way too many SAM sites on their planets that just kind of trivialize all the call-ins, so tell me about that as well. As always, thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.